In the early hours of August 2nd, 2015, a panicked 911 call shattered the calm of a North Carolina night. A man was dead, his skull crushed. The callers, his wife, Molly Martens, and her father, a retired FBI agent. They claimed they acted in self-defense. They said Jason Corbett was choking Molly, and that they had no choice but to stop him. But as investigators dug deeper, the story grew murkier, and the line between victim and aggressor began to blur. Jason Corbett was born and raised in Ireland, a quiet, charming man. He was a devoted father, a successful businessman, and a widower. After losing his first wife to an asthma attack, Jason was left to raise their two children alone. In need of help, he hired an American nanny, Molly Martens. She was bright, beautiful, and 12 years younger than him. Their relationship quickly turned romantic, and soon she was no longer just the nanny, she was Mrs. Corbett. But the fairy tale didn't last long. Molly Martens grew up in a family defined by law and order. Her father, Tom Martens, was a decorated FBI agent. She was raised to believe in justice, discipline, and loyalty. But Molly also carried pain, struggles with anxiety, eating disorders, and a desperate longing to belong. Her relationship with Jason gave her purpose, but not peace. According to Molly, Jason was controlling, cold, dismissive, and sometimes violent. She said she lived in fear, that behind closed doors, Jason was not the man everyone thought he was. Friends and family noticed the cracks forming. Jason wanted to return to Ireland. Molly didn't. Custody disputes loomed, trust eroded, and resentment simmered. Molly kept a journal. In it, she wrote of emotional abuse, of being isolated, of Jason's unpredictable rages. But was it truth or a careful narrative? Jason's family, especially his sister Tracy, saw it differently. They said Molly was manipulative, that she wanted full control of Jason's children and his life, that she feared losing them more than anything else. Then, the night everything changed. According to Molly and Tom Martens, an argument escalated. Jason was choking Molly. Tom said he ran upstairs, alarmed by the noise. He brought a metal baseball bat with him. In the struggle that followed, Jason Corbett was struck multiple times, at least 10. He died at the scene. But the evidence told a more complex story. Jason had no defensive wounds. His injuries were catastrophic, far beyond what many considered self-defense. And investigators noticed something else. No visible marks on Molly's neck, no signs of a life-or-death struggle, just blood, confusion, and contradiction. The Martens stuck to their story. They claimed they tried CPR, that they called 911 as soon as they could, that it was tragic but justified. But investigators weren't convinced. They suspected a premeditated attack. The tensions in the marriage had reached a breaking point, and that this wasn't about self-defense at all. In 2016, both Molly and her father were charged with second-degree murder. They pled not guilty, and a high-profile trial began that would divide families and countries. In the courtroom, the jury heard two radically different versions of the same story. The prosecution argued it was murder, that the father-daughter duo killed Jason in a fit of rage or as part of a calculated plan, that they wanted control of the children, that the scene looked more like an execution than a struggle for survival. The defense painted a chilling picture, that Jason was an abuser, that Molly was a victim, that Tom was a father trying to save his daughter's life. It was a trial filled with emotion, grief, and fury. And in the end, the jury returned with a verdict: guilty. Both were sentenced to 20 to 25 years in prison. But the story didn't end there. In 2020, their convictions were overturned. The North Carolina Court of Appeals ruled that key evidence, like Jason's past relationships, had been unfairly excluded. Molly and her father were released and awaiting a new trial. To some, it was justice delayed. To others, a disgraceful reversal. As of now, the legal saga continues. The pain remains, and the questions still linger. Was Jason Corbett a cruel, abusive husband, or an innocent man caught in a trap? Was Molly Martens a terrified woman fighting for her life, or a manipulator who spun a tale to justify a killing? And did Tom Martens act as a protector or as an executioner? One night in North Carolina left a man dead, Two families shattered, and a courtroom struggling to find the truth. A marriage ended in blood, but the truth may never be clear. This is a deadly American marriage.